From the Brewhouse stage at Mountain Lakes Brewing Company in downtown Spokane, Washington, this is Wheat Wheat Don't Tell Me, the MLB Beer Quiz Show. It's Oktoberfest time, people, and before you know it, it'll be Halloween and time for trick or drinking. So why not grab your favorite pumpkin ale and take a spooky stroll through the local Dave Yard. I'm Dave Basaraba, and here's your host, as always, Chris Cindric.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everybody. It's October, and in my opinion, it's one of the top 12 months for drinking beer. The beer festivals are everywhere. The harvests are thick. The fresh hops, Oktoberfest, and pumpkin beers are ripe and ready to be picked. Am I right, people? So tonight, sit back, have a pint of local, freshly harvested beer, or in true Oktoberfest fashion, a liter even. And enjoy our Beer Festival's Harvest and Competitions themed show. Speaking of competitions, the Summer 2019 Lester Cup Brew-Off is over, and the winner will be announced soon at a private party for all of those who participated and voted. Remember, your ticket in is your stamped ballot from all the participating breweries, including Punk Brewing Company, The Grain Shed, Humble Abode Brewing, Bellwether Brewing Company, Black Label Brewing Company, and Mountain Lakes Brewing Company. This competition had a FOMO factor of 9.3, so if you missed it this summer, you've been served, sucker! We have a great show for you tonight. Bodacious Berries and Big Barn Brewery owner Craig Deitz will be here later in the show to play a game we call Not My Beer. Remember, if you'd like to be a contestant on the show, it's very easy. Just stop by Mountain Lakes Brewing Company on the first Wednesday of the month prior to the show, and we will make you the Bodacious Berries and our raspberry wit. It's time to welcome our first contestant of the night. Hello, you're on Wheat Wheat Don't Tell Me. Tell us your name and something about yourself.
Hi, my name is Laura, and I am an actuary or computer nerd turned tour guide.
An actuary turned tour guide, and so you tour, is this local in Spokane that you do tours?
Yes, in downtown Spokane.
Downtown, and so what kind of tours are you doing in downtown Spokane?
We have food tours, beer tours, and wine tours.
And so is this through a company? You have an actual business?
Yeah, Wander Spokane.
Wander Spokane, cool. And so a lot of your hikes take you in what, remote areas or kind of more like less known areas of Spokane? Is that...
So all of those tours are in downtown Spokane, and they're walking around usually in places that even locals haven't been to, because they're just like the small local restaurants.
Okay.
And then we have urban hikes that go through Brown's Addition and Kendall Yards.
And so do you connect with food and drink establishments to end your walks and tours, or how does that work?
Yep. And in the food tours and beer tours and wine tours, we go from establishment to establishment.
Okay, which is always good.
Ones.
Right.
Always a fun time.
Yeah, we all like that.
Yes.
And so you have what's the name of your company?
Wander Spokane.
Wander Spokane, and Instagram or Facebook feed, or how do people find out about Wander Spokane?
Yep, both of those. At Wander Spokane is our Instagram, and then also Facebook.
Very cool. All right. Well, welcome to the show, Laura. Let me introduce you to our panel of brewers from the Inland Northwest Craft Brewers Association, returning after being on our first ever show. From Bellwether Brewing, a man who was so upset he didn't get a pogo stick for Christmas, he decided to dispose of his Christmas tree by cutting it up and brewing it into one of his beers and serve it to you. Please welcome Dave Musser. And from Punk Brewing Company, the son of the father-son brewing team that seemed to put a magical touch to every single craft beer created. A man who knows how to whistle, but he's definitely no punk. Please welcome Matt Hanson. And from Mountain Lakes Brewing Company, a man who is so out there, he gets his coffee from Spaceman, and then is just nutty enough to brew it into a beer. Please welcome your nutty spaceman, Tim Hilton. And also from Mountain Lakes, a man who likes his Club Nooner sandwich from the High Nooner with no center bread and a few sprouts. And don't forget the pickle. Please welcome your announcer, Dave Basaraba. Tonight's show is being recorded and is episode 5 of our Wheat Don't Tell Me podcast. You can find it at www.mountainlakesbrewco.com podcast or any of your favorite podcast formats, including iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, and Spotify. Well, again, welcome to the show, Laura. As some dude named Anthony T. Hinks once said, some things were just meant to be drunk. With that, you're going to be playing a game we call Whose Beer This Time? Dave is going to read you 3 quotations from recent beer news. If you can correctly identify just 2 of them, you will win our prize, free beer and a pint glass. Are you ready to play?
I think so.
All right. Let's hear your first quote.
You can taste it on tap starting today in our tap room.
Said Martin House Brewing Company in relation to a new sour beer they have released brewed with what crunchy jar-preserved ingredient?
Pickle?
It is pickles. That is the answer. Just proof that the cucumber will do whatever it can to make its way into your beer. Sour pickle beer is now being served at this Texas brewery. What do you think about that, guys? Like sour beers taking over the world? What's going on with this?
Yeah, I mean, there's people are putting crazy things in beers, obviously, and I don't know about you, but after a long night of drinking, I loved pickle juice in the morning.
Okay.
You can replenish your electrolytes.
That is
while
a great
you're
thing,
drinking,
right? It is.
Yeah,
It's great for
it kinda makes
camping or
sense.
for cramping.
When we're brewing, Tim generally tells me to keep my pickle out of it.
Right. It does.
Chris, I can say we now have a beer with cucumber on tap. It's not a pickle, but if you drink enough of it, it'll pickle your liver.
Yeah, very good. Personally, I'm just waiting for the asparagus beer because who doesn't want to drink something that makes you pee with something that makes your pee smell bad?
Challenge accepted.
All right. Laura, here is your second quote.
I vote for a brown ale as the base, with as many natural notes of molasses as possible.
Said a beer drinker in reference to adding what fall-time favorite ingredient to beer? What's popping up all over the place now that it is fall?
Pumpkin?
Pumpkin is the correct answer. Just like you shouldn't wear white after Labor Day, you shouldn't drink pumpkin beers until the autumn equinox, which means it's pumpkin beer season. What, you got a favorite pumpkin style? Are you pumpkin pie kind of people, or are you pumpkin spice? I mean, what kind of? Anybody you got a favorite pumpkin beer that you're waiting to been?
So I'm not super into pumpkin beers, but I am into wearing the clothes that you would wear while drinking pumpkin spice lattes and pumpkin beers.
Which is what?
It looks like Han
could
Solo.
totally
It's
rock
like the brown boots with the white socks and the vest.
I've
It's
seen
Han
you
Solo
look like
season.
It's a Han Solo
Yeah,
season.
You see me at Green Bluff every Sunday.
Well, yeah, right. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And so I always thought whistle pumpkin. Do you know that doesn't?
we did.
You
we
did?
Whistle Pumpkin.
Did you?
Yeah.
And what was that? What was
It
the
was our coffee stout with pumpkin spices.
Oh, Hoppy Spout. Okay.
Coffee
I always been waiting for Bellwether to come up with some kind
Our
of.
Grateful Jack is
Grateful-
pumpkins from our garden. It's
Right.
pretty amazing.
All right.
And I'm going to Green Bluff to get pumpkin donuts, so I'll bring a flask with that. Yeah.
And Mountain Lakes, you got any pumpkin? Anything?
Well, last year we had our Samo lantern named after my wife.
Okay.
Lantern. No, Sam. And this year we made one, and we haven't named it yet. I don't know, Dave, do you have an idea? Nope, Dave says no.
All right, I'm looking for, I think, because there are a lot of traditional ones. What I want is a Flanders red pumpkin, and I want you to brew it, and then get one of those big ass pumpkins, and then let it sit in one side one of those for 2 years, and then serve it. Is that? Yeah.
We did sour a beer in a pumpkin, and I told Thomas that I am not drinking that beer because
No?
it got super nasty in that thing.
Is that right?
And then we bottle conditioned it, and it was irresistible.
Oh.
And it was the best beer ever.
Now,
Let me just point out that
Okay.
Dave Musser from Bellwether just said we soured a beer in a pumpkin, and not one person guffawed or gasped. They were like, "Yep, that's par for Dave's course."
that's right. Laura, here is your third quote.
So what we're trying to create in the beer is more of a mouthfeel, like a little bit of creaminess.
Said the head brewer of Angel City Brewery in L.A. in reference to what popular California stone fruit making its way into their beer?
Avocado?
It is the avocado. Now we know it's true. The modern craft beer drinker's goal for beer is simply to drink everything they've always loved to eat. Heard of dry hopping? Well, how about dry guacking? Yeah. I hear the beer stays fresher longer if you leave the avocado pit in your beer. So what do you think about this? I was at Whistle Punk. I had a beer that tasted literally like a blueberry cobbler in a glass. I was at Bellwether, and I had a beer that tastes exactly like focaccia bread, and I've had a maple bar donut out of a glass. I mean, is that what we're doing? Is this the new thing? We're just like, whatever hey, I love Oreo cookies. Well, here, drink this. What are we doing?
I would like an Oreo cookie beer, but good luck figuring that one out.
Yeah, okay.
Hanson, where would you put avocado? Would it be in the mash?
Yeah, so you worry about head retention with avocado. Any fat in beer is gonna affect head retention. But I would probably put in the mash.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
because I wouldn't want to put that in the bright tanks.
That's why my wife wanted me to lose a few pounds, because she says it's messing with your head retention.
Yeah.
So, all right. On that note, let's find out how Laura did with the quiz. Dave?
She got a 3 out of 3, almost like she wrote the script.
That's
Chris.
crazy. Congratulations, Laura. You have won our prize. Free beer and a pint glass. Thanks for playing Whose Beer this time.
Thank you.
Panelists, now a quote about some recent beer news for you. Here is your quote, panel. We always made the joke about farming. Sometimes it's a lifestyle, sometimes it's your income. Hope that there isn't 3 lifestyle years in a row. Said James Wall, a 4th-generation Lynn, Washington farmer who just harvested what essential beer ingredient on his farm?
Was it triticale?
It was. So tell us a little bit about this triticale that James Wall is brewing and finding its way into your beers.
Yeah, so we have used it quite a lot. We have 3 beers on tap with it right now, actually. So triticale, as I understand it, is like a wheat-rye hybrid.
Right.
I think it acts a little more like wheat, but it does impart some black pepper notes and kind of some spiciness to beer. So we really love it in lagers, and we've been using it a lot lately.
Right. I think about all of you used, or maybe not triticale, but some of
our Paper McGee's has always had the triticale.
the triticale. Okay.
We did our Triticale Red IPA, and that worked pretty well with the Triticale Pale.
Right.
The other thing about Triticale, I was told it was developed to be drought resistant, so it was
Right. Okay.
a big deal during the Depression and the Dust Bowl
Right.
times.
Okay.
Yep.
And so, how does this change the game for local grain farmers?
I mean, just in general, we're lucky that we have Link Malt in Spokane. Most cities, especially the size of Spokane, don't have anything close to a local malting company.
Right.
So just the fact that we get to use local malts and get to know farmers like James and different people in the Palouse who are growing these grains is super interesting. And through Link Malt, they're working with WSU and different farmers and things to grow different old world grains that aren't AMBA is kind of the certification that all grain has to go through. And a lot of these grains aren't AMBA certified, but they're great for brewing, great for distilling. So we actually just brewed with a barley called Franson, which is a Czech varietal of barley that's used in like Pilsner Urquell, one of the biggest beers in the world.
Right. Okay.
And we made a fresh hop Czech Pilsner out of it, and I love the beer, and so it's cool to use different grains like this, and we're just lucky in Spokane to have something like it.
And we're blessed because they come into our tap rooms, and so everybody gets to actually meet the farmer. James
Right.
comes in pretty often, and we get to just point out, hey, he's the one who does the triticale or the rye.
Right.
So then everybody's like,
Wow.
rows,
Yeah. Here's your
drinking the
brewer. Here's your farmer.
Yeah.
Here's your maltster.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
like,
it's-
right? That's
a
pretty
pretty
crazy.
neat-
If you don't know, 2 years ago, James Wall started growing triticale, a hybrid of wheat and rye, under his business MJW Grain. Currently, local malt house, Link Malt, has been malting his grain and is finding its way into local Spokane beers, currently the ones that you are drinking today. But that wraps up this first part of our show. We'll now take a break and be back in a few with a game we call Bluff the Drinker.
Welcome back to the Brewhouse stage at Mountain Lakes Brewing Company in downtown Spokane, Washington. This is Wheat Wheat Don't Tell Me.